And I'm sure that you've seen some of your fellow candidates this year. They've come out and made a few videos on social media and said, well, that's not how I've been actually behaved, and my successes in that episode haven't come out in what is shown in the edit. So I just wondered, from your point of view, do you think that there was a good mix this season of, I guess, entertaining TV moments and reality?
I do. I feel particularly aggrieved because I did like three videos on like episode 7, and I was fine with being edited in a way that made me look silly or a little bit incompetent because that's the show.
Yeah.
It was such a horrific representation of what actually happened that I was really hurt actually after episode 7, especially because of the backlash and the things people have called me as a result of it, and it just wasn't close to the reality. I mean, there's so many things that weren't shown. I mean, for example, I can run you through like the positives. The consumer feedback on that video was extremely positive, the one that we made. I wrote the script, the video, 11 out of 13 people, they never show any of this, said that they liked the video and it made them want to play the game. The pitch, I got really good reviews on my part of the pitch, and I wrote the pitch for the rest of the team, and we got good reviews on the pitch, but they showed the snippet where, they try and make me look really cringe and stuff. And I'm like, well, that's actually not a very fair, it was a 50-minute pitch or something. We were out there for ages. Our game never worked. And that wasn't us, that was the technology behind the scenes. And then to have that all flipped around, there was so much that you just don't see. And then it's all flipped around to be like, and I've spoken about this on socials. I tried to give a brief so many times, and I kept being interrupted from behind the scenes to say that I couldn't answer the questions I was being asked to give a brief. And then the reaction to that online has been really nasty and vile. Like, I wasn't in control of a lot of those things, and I was sort of forced into a lot of very difficult situations. So I do think there's been a good balance. I think that, from my perspective, I wish more people would just realize it's a TV show. I knew that going in. I knew it, like, obviously knowing candidates meant that I knew it was a TV show. I know what goes on. And actually, there was like snippets whilst I was there where I got that reminder, like, Lord Sugar's so upset in Hong Kong. And I'm like, guy's worth like 1 point something billion. I can promise you a bunch of 20 to 30 somethings not finding items in a foreign country is not keeping you up at night. It's a TV show and it's got to be entertaining. Otherwise, people don't watch it. I was really happy that people like Rothner, who for her, I think it was a bit more editing out her best bits to try and create a narrative. Whereas for me, it was trying to literally pull out every single negative moment to try and create this narrative, because I actually did have a really good run in pretty much all of the tasks, bar task 7. Like even task 6, I look online, like I try not to read too much of it, but the only bits they really showed was, trying to portray, the things I was saying as really cringe, in that, corporate negotiation. But what you don't really see is that the negotiation was going really poorly, and they actually warmed a bit after that part. And then the client, the corporate client, actually made a point of messaging me after the show to say, I hope you got the feedback that we sent about you specifically to Tim. And in the boardroom, like, Tim specifically read out that they absolutely loved my part of the tour and the way I engaged with them throughout the day. But the only thing you really see is like that speech with some like funny music over it. So it can be quite frustrating, but to see someone like Rothner speak out, I'm quite happy that it's drawn more awareness to the fact it's a TV show. Relax. Like, you do not need to be calling people all these kind of names. Like, you don't have a clue what's going on behind the scenes, and what people have control of, what they don't. But in terms of like smaller things, like even just like in the taxis when you see people's thoughts, I really do like that. I think that's a cool addition. Was I gutted not to get treats? I've heard pretty crappy things about what the treats were actually like.
Yeah.
I know candidates from other seasons as well, not just season 18 now. And like, one candidate from one of the earlier seasons said they drove 3 hours to do a spa break. They get into the spa break, they literally get into the pool and they're like, right, get out, we're going back.
Oh God. So
Like
it's not
this,
really a treat, it's more stress.
yeah, well, and all the candidates were saying, we wish we just got to go back to the house and relax for a little bit. But they never got that. And we never got that, because when we got back to the house, we were doing more reality filming in the garden. It was crazy, but yeah, that was good fun. It was really good fun.